All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this.
Hey boys and girls, we are going to talk about S&W shooters and prospectors. What is S&W shooters and prospectors?
We at S&W Shooters and Prospectors help people find treasure.
Did you say treasure?
Yes, treasure. Just listen to this amazing review from our happy customer, Jackie Sparrow.
Chocolate ship shape and a pleasure to deal with. I was able to buy everything that I needed at prices that were shillings less than others. I found my 9 pieces of 8 in no time. Savvy?
I know you're asking yourself, why should I shop at S&W Shooter and Prospectors?
Chuck Smalley has over 45 years of metal detecting experience. He works with each customer one-on-one to customize their setup to match their skill level.
So if you always dreamt of being a pirate, contact Chuck at S&W Shooters and Prospectors and he'll take a great deal for you.
Eye patch and rum not included.
Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show.
We're live once again. And hopefully, we will complete our test and tune operation. And then maybe we can get back to the guests and the giveaways and the, all the things that go on. Definitely. So what we've got going on here is Wednesday, we brought the phone lines back. We did our kind of baseline check to see what we had to work with. Does anything need to be adjusted? Does it need to be left alone? Things of that nature. And from what we saw in the chat Wednesday, everything seemed to be going quite well. Everybody said the audio was good. Everybody said they could hear each other clearly. There was no echo. There was no delay. Nothing like that. However, when I sat down the next day, pulled the audio for the audio side of the podcast, listened to everything. Yeah, it sounded good. it was intelligible audio, and there's a difference, okay, between intelligible audio and intelligent conversation. So I'll throw that out there now. It was intelligible audio, but when we began to take on callers, everybody could hear everybody fine, but some of the audio overpowered other things. So I did make 2 teeny tiny little tweaks, and we'll see how things go with that tonight. So I guess before we continue on, let's get a confirmation from the chat. Does the audio still sound like it did Wednesday? Is the audio still okay? You know, loud and clear. Coming soon to a theater near you. Okay. So it looks like we've had somebody, I didn't catch name, it flew by too fast, so I apologize. Let me see here. Looks like Phil Bortner says that everything sounds good. So we've got the confirmation from him and others in the chat. So that's what we want to see. That's what we want. And then that is why tonight, basically, we've got open lines, because where the tweaks were made were on the call-in side of things. There's been some changes done over there to see how things work. We're not real sure yet how they're going to work, but we'll see. Let's see here. Boy, that's quite a post to type out there, Bill. You're typing quick tonight. But it's nice to see everybody dropping in. And we see, obviously, I didn't mention that at the beginning. Congratulations to Barb. She's first in the chat. Ain't no doubt about that. She had that in the bag. And we do hope she's feeling better. I know Wednesday I had mentioned that I got into a mess with some flying pests that needed dealt with, and we were able to deal with them. Once I got them hosed down, Tim pulled quite a hive out of there, and then it wasn't but a day or two later, Barb wound up. She got into a ground hive, I think. And I want to say, if I remember correctly, they may have been hornets. And I know that, she, trying to get away, she took on a number of hits, which that sucks. So we hope that she is doing better. And we see that obviously the Bills are in, the Bortners are in, Tam's in, Scott, Mike, Oh, quite a few people. Quite a few people. Barks is in. Kevin had some videos up today, actually. Well, he posted them today. I believe that happened today. Maybe it happened yesterday, but he posted them today. And that's that was quite a large fish that Clay got into there. He was fighting it for a while. I'm trying to remember now what he said on the video. I think Kevin said it was a grass carp. And really, you folks have got to see the video to really understand this. I mean, see the post, see the videos, see the photos. Clay, I mean, obviously, is not a small kid. You know, he's not a child. Maybe that's the best way to put it. He's not a child, and to realize that, welcome to Dennis, to realize that and take that into reference, that's a big fish. That's a big fish. It would have been interesting to see how they got it into, because I believe they were in a boat, a canoe, whatever. It would have been interesting to see how they got it into the boat. Yeah, there we go. I see where Kevin's got in the chat that he hooked a grass carp. But man, I mean that was a big fish. Welcome to Digging Buddy. Now I know that back in the day, I used to do some fishing here in our glowing mud puddle, and we had some large carp and large catfish. I mean, I've seen them come out of here easily as long as my arm, and carp is not necessarily it's not necessarily the best thing to eat. I'll put it that way. You really have to know what you're doing if you're going to try to eat one. But all that aside, they are fun to catch, or even the big catfish. I mean, and it's not necessarily, take it how you want. I mean, it's not necessarily for the food. I mean, there again, catfish, you prepare it right, good eating. But it's, at least back then, for me, all the fun was in the fight. Once you got it out of the water, the fight was over. And sure, you look at it, you're like, hey, that's a big fish. That's a nice fish. Let's weigh that or measure it or, whatever. And then for a number of people that, catch and release, you let it go and you're on to the next big fight. Just like, detecting. You make that nice find and you're like, oh man, that is awesome. I can't believe I found that. That's so cool. It just makes my day. You get some pictures of it, maybe do a little go live, something like that, or a little video clip to post up later, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. You get everything put up and then that's it. You're like, well, that was cool. I like that. Now I got to find another. So it's on to the next find. It's the, I don't know, the thrill of discovery. You know, every time we open a plug, it's like Christmas all over again, you know. What is it this time? Is it an old seated quarter? Is it a gold ring? Is it a silver pendant? You know, what is it? Can't wait to see it. Got to see it. Show me, show me, show me. And then, you know, we find ourselves a little surprised. Or maybe we get the whammy and find we've got another pull tab. Boo hiss. Wah, wah, wah. That's the way it goes, though. So, obviously, let's see here. Looks like... Okay, looks like Kevin and Clay were fishing for bluegill and bass. Hey, I'm down with that. Good eating. Definitely. Definitely good eating. And for those that are a member of the Metal Detecting Beyond Sight and Sound group, holy cow. That takes me off guard. Just another pull tab. I'll be damned. Welcome aboard, my friend. It has been a while. God, it's been years. Good to see you in, pull tab. I don't know. Some of you folks may not remember pull tab. Pull tab is you could say he's not necessarily all that far from me. We've hunted a couple of the same locations at different times. I mean, we haven't hunted together, but he's actually very nearby my area, and he used to. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look up his channel activity. I know he used to post a number of metal detecting videos, and not just metal detecting. I mean, he does post some other interesting videos. It's been a while since I've seen any of his videos. I know there for a while it seemed like his channel had went dormant. But yeah, I mean, especially if he's active on the channel again, and if he's putting up videos again, y'all need to go check him out. He's a good guy. Good guy. I want to say some of the YouTubers may remember this. Years ago, you could do like recommended channels on your channel, and Pull Tab, I want to say, was one of the first channels that I actually recommended to people. And that was back when he was doing the metal detecting videos and things of that nature. And we've messaged back and forth in the past. Great guy, though. Great guy to talk to, through messages. Did a good job with his videos. Definitely good to see him back in the chat. Definitely good to see him back in the chat. And it sounds like... okay. So it sounds like he... and I do vaguely recall, I do believe I do vaguely recall the channel getting hacked and everything. And it's good to see he does still get out a little bit. And that's why I say, if you folks have not seen some of his videos, you may have to go back a few years. He did a great job with his videos, and he truly was just out there having a blast. And that's what it's about. You got to get out there and you got to have fun with it. What's up? DA in the house. So yeah, it's good to see Pull Tab's back. Good to hear that he's getting out again. Nice to see him dropping in. It has been a while, my friend, but definitely good to see you back. It has been quite some time. So I guess maybe I should rephrase what I was saying earlier. Sometimes it is good to see Pull Tab. Oh, definitely. Good to see. And just like everyone else, we're all doing what we can to hang in there. Definitely doing what we can to hang in there. So yeah, I kind of got sidetracked there seeing Pull Tab drop in. Definitely good to see him. I mean, sometimes, like a few episodes back, I kind of got taken back by some things that had went on in the episode. I got a few curveballs thrown at me. We found out Josh Silva had been in the chat, which there again, wow, it's been a while since I've talked with Josh. And then obviously our good friend Steve Zazulik decided to drop in to the show and talk to us for a little bit there on video, which that was another reason why we were trying to get the call-in capability back. He had been trying to connect with the show through the phone line that night, but we weren't set up for that sort of thing at the time. So now we believe, anyway, we've got the phone lines all set up. We've got everything hopefully ironed out, and we'll see. I cannot tell anyone where Chuck is. I don't know. He may try to connect with the show tonight, which was another reason why we wanted to make sure we had the call lines available. I know that he has made it to Alaska, and he did. I know I shared it on my timeline. We shared it in the Metal Detecting Beyond Sight and Sound group. Chuck did. Kind of a quick little video tour, we'll say, of the Alaskan Mint, which I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen that, go back and check it out. There's some nice pieces that get shown in that video. There's some pricey ones too, but there are some nice pieces that get shown in that video. So That's another thing. Go back, check it out, see what you think. And some of those pieces are pieces that were recovered in Alaska. It'll have the size of the specimen, the weight of the specimen, where it was found, what they want for it, if you so choose to try and buy it. Lot of nice pieces. I'll put it that way. So it was cool to see. I don't believe that he has done a walkthrough video tour of the Alaska Mint in his recent trips to Alaska. So as far as whether or not the guys are finding anything this round, I don't know. I haven't heard whether or not Frankie's pulling in any fish, because he'll prospect for a few days and then he'll go and do the fishing. World-class fishing, we'll see. We'll see, Pull Tab. Thanks for dropping in. So it was. It's cool to see. So like I said, I don't know. He may or may not drop into the show tonight. But even at that, it is open lines. Those that can remember the call-in number can always call in if they'd like. From what we've seen in the chat, everybody seems to say that the audio is good. It's solid. It's like it was Wednesday. Apparently not too quiet, not too loud. I don't know. I'm guessing not too quiet, not too loud. So it's right there. It's in a comfortable range. And we see Ohio Relic Hunter. He's got the call-in number up, which, speaking of which, that brings to mind another thing. I know back some episodes back, we did the Civil War trivia, the Civil War metal detecting trivia, and somebody, I believe Pam, had said that they were trying to connect with the show, and they were trying to call the 309 number, and I'm going, what? I don't know anything about any 309 number. And I had not given it a thought. And I want to say that it was actually Ohio Relic Hunter that pointed it out to me, that we believe the 309 number that they were trying to call was actually the number they saw at the top, because of it being the number for shooters and prospectors. If you would like to call Chuck and order a detector or a pinpointer, pouch digger, whatever, that was the direct line for shooters and prospectors. So just so there's some differentiation there, maybe I'll have to put it back into the description, because really this is the second episode now that we have had the call capability put back into the show. We've incorporated it back into the show. So we need to make sure that there's a distinction there. The 309 number that people see in the chat that is to contact Chuck at Shooters and Prospectors if you are trying to order a detector or other metal detecting related gear. The call-in number for the show is actually a 419 number, which, I'm not even going to bother, stating the number. I know Ohio Relic Hunter put it in the chat, and that should suffice. And really, some of the people that, we see the same names on many of the shows. And many of the names, you folks are not strangers to any of the shows. Whether it's Beyond Sight and Sound, whether it's Detect America, Can You Dig It, insert name. So you folks have listened to the shows for a while. And especially in terms of Detect America and Beyond Sight and Sound, you guys have listened for quite a while. Listened, watched, followed, whatever, for quite a while, quite some time, actually. Detect America and Beyond Sight and Sound have both been around, I want to say, pretty much the same amount of time. I mean, there may be, I don't know, maybe a month or so difference, if that. And I couldn't even tell you who was first, really. It may have been Detect America, it may have been us. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a minute. I'll put it that way. We've actually, for both shows, we've went through the ups, we went through the downs, we've went through the venue changes, all of that stuff. And that's okay. We go with it and we see what happens. And it's worked out, like I said, we've been here a minute. And we see what happens. It looks like we've got Frank on. Maybe. All right. You there, Frank?
I'm here. You were first. Yeah,
Oh.
you guys came on 1,000 mics a little bit before us, a month, maybe 2 months before us.
Yeah, see, and that's what I was saying. It's only like a month apart, maybe, if that. We were both right there on the scene at the same time, basically.
Yeah, you were. Because I remember those little icons on the side when I first did the show. I saw, you guys had come up. We were in the same 2 month period, but yeah, you guys definitely hit it first.
Wow. I mean, either way, though, we've both been around a minute. We've been doing this a while.
Yeah, we've got to be approaching. Well, Detect America, the page, we're like on our year 13 or 14, so we got to be doing this 15 years. Close to it.
Yeah, and
we're close to it.
And yet we're still putting out content. People are still following, which I guess, speaking of which,
you have to be patient. You have to be patient with this whole process because you go from, listen, we had 11,000 viewers when we did, we had Mind Lab on 10 years ago, and you'll go through summer months where, you're broadcasting to like 10 people. It's a cyclical thing, and you just gotta bear with it. The longer you're in it, the more people will know you're there.
Oh yeah. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that because Steve had called in Wednesday, and we kind of discussed that where, it's summertime, listeners, viewership, whatever you want to call it, it always takes a dip, and we get it. Everybody's wanting to get their dig on. I don't blame them. I would too.
Exactly. When you're sitting at your table broadcasting and the sun's out and it's beautiful weather, why would they come in and sit in front of their computer and listen?
Right, yeah, exactly. You look out the window and you're going, what am I thinking? I should be out there. But, I mean, that's the way it goes. And obviously with you calling in, I mean, you can hear me fine, I can hear you fine, and hopefully the listeners can hear us both fine. I know they did.
Yeah, everything sounded good.
Yeah, and
whoa, we are in the middle of a mad thunderstorm right now, and it just sounded like it struck like my truck.
Oh, well, you don't want that.
Yeah, we're in thunderstorm season down here, so once to twice a day we have. It just sounded like a gun went off right outside my window. It's crazy down here right now.
Right, crack a
thunder. My dogs are crying at my feet.
Yeah, I'm sure that Rico's not enjoying this at all.
No, he's trying to climb into my lap, and he's no longer a little lap dog. So.
No, not at all. Yeah, I definitely get what you mean there. And I had told Steve Wednesday, actually. I don't know if he had relayed that to you or not, but good job with Monday's show. Delek and Mark are always a great guest combination to have on.
And they are, and you know what? They make it easy. They make it easy. They're fun. They still haven't forgotten about reaching out to your customers, and we whoop it up with them. We joke, we talk metal detecting, but they're easy. They're an easy guest because they're always on the ball, and they're a lot of fun to have on.
Right, yeah. I mean, and you guys know, doing the shows, sometimes you get those guests where you're like, so you metal detect, and you can hear crickets, and then all of a sudden, yes, and then more crickets, where you feel like you're having to drag the answers out of them, where when you get powerhouses on, like,
you're crawling in trying to pull the answers out of them.
Yeah.
But no, we always have a good time when Delek and Mark are on, and it's a ball. And I'm trying to keep my head above water here. We are so busy, Josh. It's not even funny. Oh, we're so busy down here with building
Aquatex.
It's insane right now. And you know what? And that's the thing with Ugly Box. You go through stints with Ugly Box where listen. People get it. It's summertime. They're out there not thinking about it, and then all of a sudden, we are swamped. We're swamped. So listen, I'm not complaining. It's a good thing, but we are. I've got the new Score 3. It's all together. I put it around my living room with it, and I still haven't been able to take it out to the beach.
Oh,
I know. I'm dying. Well, here's the thing. Just to show you how busy we are, because I'll use Aquatex on my machines as I go. I'll throw a pair. I have to test every single set, so I'll throw a pair on. I don't have a pair of Aquatex. I don't own a pair of Aquatex right now to put on my machine, because every set of Aquatex is out the door.
Yeah, and we've seen that before, because I seem to recall the guy who makes Ugly Boxes. There's been a number of times that he didn't even have one.
Yeah, matter of fact, the last one I used, I dug an antique one out of my closet. I had to use that.
Wow.
So listen, that's a good problem to have. What can I tell you?
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, actually, just the other day, because I've told people before that, I mean, we've been around so long and everything, I have seen the evolution in the Ugly Box and the progression of the evolution and how it has improved and all of that. I can remember back when they were being put in, like the plastic craft boxes or whatever from Walmart and all of that.
Absolutely. I mean, that listen, I figured it out the other day, and it was a shock to me. So between the ones that we have been building for the past 4 or 5 years in the nice boxes, and then the ones that we had built prior to that, we are at 7,000 units with the new box and about 3,000 to 4,000 with the old box that we have since we started playing with these things, since we've started Detect America.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. The other day I was digging around and I actually found one of the original ugly boxes, that were in the black project boxes that were about the size of a small shoebox.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Just, wow.
Yeah, they've come a long way.
Yes, they have.
But it's a great thing. I still to this day. I mean, you figure I've been building them on Detect America 10, 11, 12 years, and I still my first part of my day every day is still I get a bunch of questions on the chats or on the email, and I'm still out here answering the questions, and more and more they're starting to go overseas, which I love. But we're still at it. But I need to take a detector out because I'm getting stir crazy in here.
Right, got to get some therapy in. Got to build a set of Aquatex for that triple score and see how they sound on there.
Yeah, no, that's the absolute next on my project. When our audio drivers finally arrive, that's the first thing I got to do is build a set of Nokias for my Legend and for this Score 3. I think the Score 3 is going to be a really decent machine, and we'll see. Once I get it out and play with it, I'll know more about it. Yeah. I know the Bortners have had their Score 3 out.
Yes, they have. Actually, Phil and Shannon got out with it the other day. I want to say the first find that was made was a 67 quarter. So not silver, but hey, it wasn't a pull tab.
Yeah, no, just if you sit and you actually, I'll give props to Notka that this set of instructions is the easiest ones to read and relate to the machine. So it's easier for a lot more people to wrap their head around it. But read them. It's enlightening the stuff. And I'll criticize Notka a little bit. They're not putting out on their videos and stuff. I'm sure that what's his name now? And I can't believe I can't remember his name.
Quarter Hoarder.
Quarter Hoarder is going to do a great video on it. But there's so much stuff hidden, running in the background on this machine that I didn't know about until I really, really read the instructions from end to end. It's a good read. It's an interesting machine. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh my, it's the best thing since buttered bread. But I got a lot of high hope for this, and I got a lot of high hope for the new Garrett coming out.
Well, and that's the other thing too. I mean, when you stop and consider the price point, it's another one of those mid-range price point machines that they are the big thing right now, whether it's the triple score, the Legend, the Equinox, the Vortex, good machines.
I like on the Score 3, I like the fact that there's a lot of stuff that whether you're using a Legend or whether you're using any other machine, a lot of stuff that I would do to the machine, I would tweak to the machine before I go on into the beach. I would do it every single time. And Notka has taken it and kind of put this stuff automated to the mode that you're running. If you're running beach mode, if you're running field mode, if you're running park, they have a certain set of these add-ons that are already running in the background. And it's stuff that I would do anyway. So I don't have to do it every time and tweak it every time I'm going out. I like that a lot. I told you, like, as I get older, you know what? This kind of stuff that is a no-brainer that I would do. I like the fact that it's automatically running in the background. It makes the machine simpler to run, and it's a good. Listen, at the price point they're at, the machine is in the top tier machines out there right now.
Yeah, I mean,
the Legend and the
you
Score.
Can't scoff at the price point at all. And you had made that point on the show Monday. About not having to go through all the motions, and sometimes less is best, And you like that simplicity. You like to be able to just turn it on and go and not have to tweak settings.
And some of that stuff in the Score 3, if it's something you don't like, you can turn it off. But it's there automatically, and it's stuff that I mean, and it's not stuff that's really going to affect, you know, it's all stuff that's going to enhance your day. It's not stuff that, you know, oh, I got to shut this off. It's driving me crazy. It's not like that. It's stuff that I would do anyway.
Nothing that's going to be detrimental to your day or take away from the hunt.
And again, and it's got that deep mode. It doesn't have the beast mode, but the relic mode runs a lot like the beast mode. It kind of does the same kind of thing. It's a cool machine. I'm very disappointed I don't have much time on it. I haven't had it out, just reading and playing with the features on it now. But I promise you I will be out with it this week.
Well, and we know that a lot of times you've you know, before you come out with a full on review.
I won't. I'm not going to sit there and tell everybody it's the greatest machine on the planet until I actually have some hours on it.
Right. And I want to say, if memory serves me correctly, you usually try to stick right there around about the 100-hour mark before you even.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm pressed for time and I hit 40 hours, I'm okay with that. But I try to do, you know, somewhere between 40, 60 hours, 100 hours. Then I'm confident enough with, you know, what I know about the machine to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, you can do it on 40. I mean, yes, it's a new machine, but the fundamental principles are still the same.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got the hours on the Legend, so this isn't a big jump from the Legend with its features and all. Basically, how the features work that are automatic, how the features that are embedded in the modes work. So and that's the thing. That's the comparison that I haven't really been able to make yet.
Yeah, I would not think that there's going to be very much of an acclimation period for people who use Legend.
It should be easier to use. Absolutely, it should be easier to use. I kind of think that was the idea behind the Score series, getting a decent, powerful multi-frequency without all the hoops to jump through to get it there. Now, listen, guys like me, I like going to the Legend. I like having that ultimate control over everything that I touch. But there's a lot to be said for the basic stuff being automatic, being embedded.
Yeah, it's nice to tweak and tune when you want to, but there are times too where you're just like, you know what, I don't want to deal with it right now. I just want to turn on, go hunt, enjoy my day. I've got limited time to hunt anyway, so let's just get it done.
Exactly, and that I think it's definitely more of a turn on and go machine. And like I said, that. I'm going to announce it now. I think I had advertised that Steve Moore will be on this week, but I think I screwed that up. I think Steve Moore's on next week.
Oh.
So then next week we're gonna talk a little one-on-one without all the scientists and the engineer talk and everything. We're going to talk one-on-one with Steve Moore. And like I said, there was stuff about that. There was stuff about that new machine that I kind of am very interested in hearing more about. And it'll be good. We're winning here, man. We're winning here with these machines because none of them are slugs. They're all coming out and they're very decent machines.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're the winning team here.
Absolutely, we are. We're winning out there in the field, and it's going to be interesting to see the show on the Vortex anyway. Simply because I know you've seen it too. Once again, we've got a number of people that are already bashing the unit. It's not even in their hands. They haven't used one. They've got no experience, zero experience with it, but yet they think they're already an expert.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. And the fact of the matter is, listen, all those guys should be right. It may be horrible, but you don't know that yet. It could be fantastic. So
right. You got to give it its fair
that's
shake.
The goal, and I'm looking forward to talking about it. I'm looking forward to trying it, and that's the thing, because anymore you almost have to disregard the price points, because listen, I was looking. I have an old receipt from my first real metal detector. And this was 39 years ago, Josh. Next year is my 40th year in this hobby.
Right.
But 39 years ago, I bought a machine a single frequency machine that I paid twice as much as these fantastic multis are going for today. Literally, I paid close to $1,000 for a single frequency machine, almost 40 years ago.
Yeah, I can relate. I can remember the same thing. Somewhere around here, I've got a receipt for it was a Garrett GTAX 1000.
Right.
And, easily twice as much as what people are paying for machines today. Easily twice as much. And the machines they're getting today for half the price are outperforming these machines.
I bought a Fisher 1265X, and listen, to this day, I'll take it to my grave. I think for that period of time, it was a brilliant machine. Absolutely brilliant. Lots of great finds. Still a single frequency machine back in the 80s, and I paid just over $900 for that thing. And in comparison to today, you can't compare then to now because technology's changed, but in comparison to what you're getting for under $500 today.
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal.
It's night and day.
It's phenomenal. And that was another good point on Monday's show too, about the fact that I'm glad that you and Dilek both pointed out, yes, it is a multi-frequency machine, but it's also selectable. So you can also use single frequency because for some scenarios.
Yeah, listen, we know what multi-frequency can do. We know how multi-frequency simply wants to be quiet. There are situations, guys, that you will have a situation when you're going in the field, and whether it's just the way that the minerals in the ground or the pesticides, that your more narrow single frequency is going to benefit you. It's going to work better, and having that on board is perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. It's another tool in the toolbox. So it works well.
Exactly. Why not have it if they're available? Listen, there's many seeded hunts with a lot of multi-frequency machines. There's almost no situation that we haven't fixed for somebody by just simply switching it to like 15 kilohertz. It's just a narrower band. It's still going to hit the coin, especially a seeded hunt in shallow digs. It's simply going to be quieter. It's going to have less interference because there's less of a frequency band to interfere. There's times you will use it.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure that you can remember the days where when you'd go to these seeded hunts, a lot of times you would see a lot of Tesoro compadres.
I'm sorry, Josh, you're breaking up, buddy.
Oh.
It could be my phone. Don't get me wrong. We're in the middle of a storm.
Right, you're in the middle of that storm. But you'd see a lot of Tesoro compadres at those hunts.
Yeah, they were quick. The thing is, people don't realize that they used Tesoros, those a couple of the little machines, the Shadow, they had fast processors. They were the perfect little seeded hunt machine. Listen, there's still guys. You will always see a handful of Tesoros out there today because they're such a quick little processor that they work good on these seeded hunts.
Oh yeah. And a lot of people, that was their preferred machine of choice for a seeded hunt.
Yep,
simply
absolutely.
Because it was fast.
I used a Shadow X, whatever, X5, X4. I used it for years on seeded hunts because it was just it was very similar to like a Tesoro. Troy really did a nice job with that machine. And it was for what it was a fast processor. It worked great. It really didn't get a lot of interference from other machines. And good.
Yeah.
They were great little coin shooters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. And especially back in the day like that. Today, now there again with the technology, there are many more better options that are available to us.
Yeah, exactly. And just to know that you can flip that switch and you can drop it to a single frequency. There's almost no unless your machine is not working properly. There's almost no situation you can't get out of with the features that are available today. we've had interference with overhead power lines that we can notch out now. We can get rid of now with simply notching out or frequency shifting. Or this is nothing that was ever available to us in the old days.
Yeah. Back in the day, we just had to deal with it.
Yep, absolutely. You just dealt with it, or you went somewhere else.
Yeah, it could back in the day. It could make for frustrating days sometimes. Absolutely. And I also like the point that Dilek brought up, because Nokta as a company, they listen to their customer base. But not only do they listen to their customer base, they're not just customers to the company. It's more like a big extended family.
As long as I've been in this hobby, and as over the years, as many manufacturers and higher ups in these companies that I have dealt with, when was the last time that you could pick up a telephone or you can send a text and you're going right to one of the two vice presidents of the company? It's a rare thing. That's like I said, whether you like the machines or you don't like the machines, that's a big deal. That's a big deal when these people are reaching right out back to you, and they're not some kid behind the counter that answers the phone all day. These are big time reps of this company.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. I mean, over the years, when you think about the number of manufacturers that have been around, the number of machines that have been around, Nokta is the only company that I have seen a response from like that.
Right, absolutely. And I told her, I made sure to tell her that's what a lot of these bigger manufacturers have forgotten. Exactly. Reaching out and rubbing elbows with the people that are paying big money to use your machines, being able to talk to you directly is a big deal. It means a lot to people.
Yeah, and I think some of the manufacturers, maybe they've gotten a little big for themselves, where Nokta kind of looks at it as a grassroots company. They have not forgotten where they came from, and they have never forgotten the customers.
And I think because of the success that Nokta is having, because of that, I think you're going to start to see these companies kind of reach back. Listen, you keep going up the line, and you keep all of a sudden now you're only dealing on Amazon and these other places. You have no contact with your customer base, and I think I think the hobby will suffer. I think the manufacturers will start to revert back to this one-on-one contact as much as they can. And I think Noka is going to be responsible for it. Like I said, whether you buy a Noka, whether you buy a MindLab, whether you buy a Garrett, it's nice to have these companies remember who pays their bills.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to know that if you need that support, it's there. You can count on it. They are that dependable and reliable.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And it like I said, all this benefits us. The more it comes around, the more equipment that's out there, the better customer service that they ultimately are going to have to do. These companies, you're the benefit, man. We're the beneficiary of it.
Absolutely, I agree. And much like you were saying, I don't think it's a good move for these companies to be catering to Amazon and the other big box stores, things like that. They need to shift that frame of thought.
I get it from a dollars and cents point of view. Even these companies that are starting their own pages and they're selling through their own pages, that's all fine and good. But you can't leave out your dealer, because I'm not calling MindLab, I'm not calling these other bigger companies and getting someone who's going to sit there and talk to me about that machine, telling me what machine is better for me. That's what your dealers do.
Exactly.
That's what your dealers do. And
a lot of times,
you cut the dealers out, you're cutting out a big chunk of your customer service.
Exactly, because a lot of times the dealers are truly the unsung heroes in all of this, because they are the people that are providing that after the sale customer service.
Yeah, go walk into a Cabela's, walk into a Bass Pro, go into where they sell their metal detectors, and pick one of those kids and ask them a question about the machine and see what you get. I've done it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sometimes you're
and
doing good to get them to tell you the name of it properly.
Exactly. You know, you get more information about a pair of your sneakers than you'll ever get about a metal detector.
Right? Or the latest video game.
Yeah, exactly. They're just, you know, the deal. It's a shame that the dealers suffer for it, but the dealers are absolutely a necessity for these people that are just getting into the hobby, that have these questions. And you know, if you go on the internet, if you go on Facebook, if you go on YouTube, you ask the wrong person the question, you're going to get a bunch of crap for an answer that's going to hurt you more than help you. The dealers have a lot to lose. The dealers want to make their sales too. I get it, but they're going to tell you what you need to know. And if you go out and the dealer lied to you, you go right back face to face to the dealer. That drives the dealers to have better customer service and to be honest and truthful with you. Right. Because if they know you're going to come right back and knock on their door and say, "Yo, what are you selling me?" They want to avoid that. The dealer is super important in this hobby, and the company's just got to remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you figure, yes, you're right. The dealer does want to make that dollars and cents sale. Yes, they get a little kickback. They make a little bit of money off of that machine. But more importantly, what the dealer is looking for is that return customer. And that service is what makes that customer a return customer.
Exactly, because listen, you know what? If I'm honest with you, and you go out and you have a good experience with that machine, guess what? You're coming back. You're coming back looking for that shovel. You're coming back looking for that scoop. You're going to return to where you're having the good experience.
You're coming back looking for that.
If you're a real if you're a seasoned hardcore veteran digger and you know exactly what you want, okay, I can see. Amazon's got this model. I know all about it. Let them ship it to me. But if you don't have that knowledge, if you're starting out, you're looking at a crowd of stuff that you know nothing about and don't know which one's better, which one's worse. Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot to be said for the dealer.
Yeah. And if you are a diehard seasoned veteran, you can contact the dealer and say, "Hey, look, this is the machine I want, you know, get it shipped to me." And they're like, "Okay, exactly. Hey, we'll take care of it." And you may not need that after the sale customer service, but if you so happen to be unfortunate enough where, you know, the machine malfunctions, now you got to file a warranty claim, you can contact the dealer. They're going to walk you right through it.
Yeah, I can see somebody on your chat, like when he re-entered the hobby, he was lucky enough to find some good YouTube videos and it helped him out, and that's awesome. And that is the case. There are some really good YouTubers out there. The problem is that they are outnumbered 10-1 by the guys that really don't know what they're talking about.
Right, by the ones that claim to be experts, and then everybody falls into the trap because they go, "Oh, well, they've got 150,000 subscribers. You know, these guys must know what they're talking about."
And then the guys who truly are experts on YouTube, who really can give you good advice, they get washed out. They get washed out by the hundreds of guys that just want to have a voice and not want to necessarily know the details of a machine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. And it does. It gets frustrating. I mean, there are some days where I just have to shut the computer off and walk away. I can't deal with YouTube.
Yeah, I know. I mean, listen, I'm the first person to tell you, I refer to Quarter Hoarder's videos more than once. I think Quarter Hoarder does one of the best walkthroughs of machines that are out there, period. And I have, to this day,
absolutely.
I still refer to his videos on the Legend.
Yep.
It's great, and it takes you right. But I know him, and I know what he's capable of doing. So exactly. if I don't know who Quarter Hoarder is, or I'm just getting into this hobby, I'm going to the first things that pop up.
Right.
And they're not always beneficial to you.
And I'm not sure I can't remember now if Delek had mentioned that to you on Monday's show or not, but I know they did bring it up when they were on Beyond Sight and Sound. I had mentioned that the walkthrough tutorial for the Legend, as well as the walkthrough tutorial for the Triple Score by Quarter Hoarder, were some of the best walkthrough tutorial videos I have seen done on those machines. And I believe
the cool thing that Quarter Hoarder does too, especially the legend video, if you go to that video, he literally goes through every single thing on that machine, and his video itself is segmented. So if you want to jump a segment, you don't necessarily, if you're looking for something specific, you can find it easily, as opposed to going through an hour video.
Yeah,
and that's awesome. And it has become a reference material now.
And I think when I brought it up on Beyond Sight and Sound that night, maybe it was Mark, had mentioned that the walkthrough tutorial video for the Legend by Quarter Hoarder is one of the highest watched Legend videos on YouTube.
Absolutely. Like I said, I refer to it all the time.
Yeah. And
I refer to it all the time. And
the one for the triple score,
he does a really good job on it.
Yeah, he did. And it's good to see, and especially when you know that there are people out there that they're really, the amount of work that had to go into that video. And
absolutely, and you know what? And just the one thing I want to tell to your listeners out there, that if you take out your machine, and your machine is having a bad day, and you got noise you can't get rid of, the first, not that it's not the end answer, the first answer is never send the machine back. And I see that so often, and it drives me nuts. The first answer is eliminate the crap, eliminate the easy stuff, lower your sensitivity, clean your coil cover. But too many guys are out there like, oh yeah, I had a lot of chatter today. Oh yeah, send it back. Yeah, that's the difference between someone who knows the hobby, knows the machines, and doesn't.
Yeah, and even at that, before you send it back, if all else fails, you've cleaned the coil cover, everything else, there's this nifty little move called a factory reset that people can do.
Exactly. Right. If you're not first things first, if you're getting chatter, you're not lowering your sensitivity a little bit to see if it changes, then you're doing it wrong. Maybe you do have a bad machine. Maybe it does need to be repaired, but why would you take it away from yourself being able to use it for a couple of weeks without trying the basic stuff first?
Yeah, I mean, how many of us have had internet problems or something where we finally call the service provider and they go, "Oh, well, did you do this? Did you do this?" And most of us are going
to unplug your router.
Yeah, most of us are going, do you think I would be having this conversation right now if I hadn't? The detector manufacturers.
Exactly. Like I said, then that's the art that's lost when you start to move all your manufacturers start to move their sales towards automated internet. You lose that.
Bingo. You got it. Yep. That is true.
Well, buddy, I'm gonna bail out because my phone is getting. I'm having a hard time hearing you. Our storm's getting worse, so I'm gonna bail on you. And thanks for having me on again tonight. And great talking to you again, Josh.
Hey, stay safe down there, my friend.
All right, buddy.
Well, so now I guess the task at hand, the work that gets to go on, we've had, we had the audio earlier in the show. Now we've had the call. Now I get to go back and listen to all of it once again and see if we need to tweak anything else, or are we good? We locked in the settings from Wednesday. Then we changed a couple of things for tonight's show. So now the question is, are we good? Do we need to tweak anything else, or are we good? Listeners heard Frank, okay. Listeners heard me, okay. And once again, we see from the mods in the chat, sounds good. That's what we like to see. That's what we're trying to pull off for you folks. You know, a good, clear, comfortable listening environment. So that's what we're trying to do. And folks have to be patient. Sometimes it takes a little while. Like we can get it close, but then sometimes it may take a few episodes to really kind of dial it in there where we want it to be. And that was tonight. We're hoping to get it dialed in there where you want it to be. And it makes my job easier too. Believe me, the amount of post-production work that goes into the audio side of the podcast. Like when you folks catch us here on YouTube, it's a live, raw run. Where if you catch the audio side of the podcast, it's a little more, there's a little more production in it. There's been some post-production work done to the audio from the live raw run. But yeah, I mean, so far I have to say everything seems like it's working well. I mean, finally, because it has it's been it's been a little bit of a struggle for this transition that's been going on, coming from the audio side to the YouTube side. And we definitely appreciate everyone that has hung in there with us, because you folks know it takes some time sometimes, and it hasn't necessarily been a real easy transition this time around. There are still some things that we need to tweak and things that could be done. But there again, you know, that we may get everything. But until then, we know that at least this part is working. We do have that option for folks. Good to see. It's great to hear. And I have seen the difference too. I go through, I pull these episodes to put on the audio side of the podcast after every episode. And I've got to say, I mean, as far as audio quality sounds, Wednesday was probably the best audio run this year. I mean, and maybe I'm being too critical, but that's really saying something. When we do every single week, yes, we do have some nights that we're not there, but normally every single week, that's a lot of episodes that we've already racked up this year. And to say that Wednesday may have quite possibly been the best audio episode this year, wow. And I'll be the first to admit, it has not been easy, but I think we're starting to get there. So I think we're going to roll on out of here. But we want each and every one of you to have a absolutely wonderful evening. And I know we don't say it very often, but once again, big shout out to all our that we have in the chat. They do a fantastic job. I mean, the people that come into the chat they're usually pretty good. You know, we don't deal with, but it's good. And it's all part of, try to keep it a environment, everybody. But you folks are a bunch of great, friendly folks anyway. We're blessed in that respect. So, I think we're going to roll on out of here. You folks have an absolutely wonderful evening. Don't forget to tip your bartenders.
We sure are glad you found us here tonight. Thanks for dropping by and joining in. If you like metal detecting, treasure hunting, gold prospecting, or even entertaining discussion, check us out Wednesdays and Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern, on your favorite podcast distribution services.